Sir, due to your elevated stress hormones, High Command has assigned you 2 female companions effective immediately. This is not optional. Talon Virek stared at his communication screen, convinced he'd misheard. He was a decorated officer of the Galactic Fleet, not some. He didn't even know what to call this situation. Repeat that, he asked, his dark hair falling into his eyes as he leaned closer. The Admiral's face remained serious. The Zytharian Council studied human biology. They believe your species requires regular companionship to maintain mental stability during long missions. 2 female aliens have volunteered. They arrive in 1 hour. The screen went black before Talon could protest. This has to be a joke, he muttered, pacing his small quarters aboard the Starship Wanderer. He was only 28, yes, and maybe he'd complained about feeling lonely during the 6-month deep space missions, but this was insane. Exactly 1 hour later, his door chimed. Talon opened it and forgot how to breathe. 2 women stood in the corridor. The first had striking purple skin that seemed to shimmer under the ship's lights, long blonde hair cascading past her shoulders, and bright golden eyes that studied him with sharp intelligence. She wore a fitted engineer's uniform that left little to imagination. The second was softer in appearance, with lighter lavender skin, the same unusual blonde hair, and warm green eyes that sparkled with kindness. Her botanist uniform was more modest but couldn't hide her graceful figure. "Hello, Talon Virek," the purple-skinned one said, her voice carrying a musical accent. "I am Saphira, Chief Engineer. This is Lunara, Xenobotanist. We are your assigned companions." There's been a mistake," Talon stammered, very aware he was staring. Lunara tilted her head, her expression puzzled. "Mistake?" But the Council said humans need regular physical and emotional bonding to prevent psychological collapse. "We studied your mating rituals extensively." Talon's face turned red. "My what?" "Your mating urges," Saphira said matter-of-factly, stepping into his quarters uninvited. "Humans apparently suffer greatly without regular release. We volunteered to help. I must admit, I'm curious about human anatomy." "That's not, we don't just..." Talon couldn't form a complete sentence. Lunara followed Saphira inside, looking around with wonder. "Oh, Talon, your quarters are so cozy. Should we begin bonding now, or would you prefer dinner first? I've read that humans enjoy dates before mating." Saphira smirked at his horrified expression. "Relax, human. We won't bite, unless you ask nicely." She winked, and Talon wondered if he could request an emergency transfer. This was going to be the longest mission of his life. 3 days into the arrangement, Talon was losing his mind, but not for the reasons he'd expected. "No, no, no." Saphira shouted from beneath the engine console, her purple legs sticking out as sparks flew. "Hand me the plasma wrench, not the fusion torch." Talon quickly swapped tools, trying not to notice how her uniform had ridden up. "Sorry. They look identical to me." "That's because human eyes are tragically limited," she muttered, but her tone was playful. She slid out, blonde hair messy with grease, a smudge on her cheek. "You know, for someone who flies a ship, you're adorably clueless about engines." "I focus on navigation," he defended himself. Saphira stood, deliberately pressing close as she reached past him for a rag. "Is that what you humans call it? Navigation?" Her golden eyes danced with mischief. "Because I've noticed you've been navigating your eyes over my body quite frequently." Talon's ears burned. I wasn't." "Relax, Talon. I'm teasing." She wiped her hands, grinning. "Though I wouldn't mind if you were looking. That's kind of the point, isn't it?" Before he could respond, Lunara's gentle voice called from the hydroponics bay. "Talon, could you help me with something?" Grateful for the escape, he found Lunara tending to a wall of glowing plants. She turned, her green eyes soft with excitement. "Look! The lunar blossoms are finally blooming. They only open for those with pure intentions." "They're beautiful," Talon said honestly, watching the silver-blue flowers pulse with light. Lunara moved beside him, close enough that he caught her sweet scent, like honey and starlight. On my world, we share these moments with those we care about. May I? She gently took his hand, guiding it to touch a petal. The flower chimed, a soft musical note that made Lunara gasp with delight. Oh, it likes you, Talon. That means... She blushed, her lavender skin darkening prettily. It means you have a gentle heart. Their eyes met, and Talon felt something shift in his chest. Lunara, I. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the ship. Radiation storm approaching, the computer announced. Impact in 2 minutes. Talon raced to the bridge, both women right behind him. The view screen showed a massive solar flare heading directly toward them. We can't outrun it, Saphira said, her fingers flying over the console. Shields won't hold. Then we go through it, Talon decided, his hands steady on the controls despite his racing heart. That's insane. Saphira protested, but her eyes showed admiration. Trust me, he said simply. Both women exchanged glances, then nodded. As the storm engulfed them, Talon felt Lunara's hand slip into his free one, and Saphira pressed against his other side. Whether they survived or not, they'd face it together. The Wanderer shook violently, but Talon's piloting held true. When they emerged on the other side, all three were breathing hard. You crazy, brilliant human, Saphira whispered, and kissed his cheek. Talon's heart forgot how to beat properly. The distress call came at 0300 hours, shattering the quiet night cycle. Mining colony under attack, Talon read, already pulling on his uniform. Pirates. We're the closest ship. Saphira appeared in his doorway, hair tousled from sleep, wearing only a thin sleeping gown that made Talon force his eyes upward. I'm coming with you. It's dangerous. Which is exactly why you need me, she interrupted, her golden eyes fierce. My combat engineering skills could save lives. Unless you plan to stop me. She stepped closer, challenge in her posture. Talon recognized that stubborn set to her jaw. Fine. But you follow my orders. Yes, sir, she purred, making the words sound like something else entirely. Lunara insisted on coming too, despite Talon's protests. I'm a healer, remember? Those miners might need medical attention. The rescue mission went sideways fast. The pirates had better weapons than intelligence reported, and Talon took a blast to the shoulder protecting a group of colonists. Talon! Saphira's scream cut through the chaos. She moved like lightning, her engineering tools somehow becoming deadly weapons in her hands. The fury in her eyes as she fought to reach him was terrifying and beautiful. When the pirates finally retreated, Talon found himself in the medical bay with both women hovering anxiously. You stupid, heroic idiot, Saphira hissed, but her hands were gentle as she checked his bandages. Taking a shot for strangers. Do you have any idea how that made me feel? How did it make you feel? Talon asked, slightly delirious from pain medication. Her voice cracked. Like my hearts were being ripped from my chest. We Zytharians have 2 hearts, and both stopped when you fell. Lunara was crying softly, her healing hands glowing as she worked on his wound. Please don't scare us like that again. I know we've only been together a short time, but... She bit her lip, but I can't imagine these voyages without you now. Talon reached up with his good arm, cupping Lunara's face. Hey, I'm okay. Takes more than a plasma burn to stop me. Does it? Saphira demanded, and he was shocked to see tears on her purple cheeks. Because from where I stood, it looked like you were ready to die for people you'd never met. That's my job, he said softly. Well, it's a terrible job. Saphira snapped, then broke down completely, resting her head on his chest. I can't lose you, Talon. I thought this assignment was just biological necessity, but it's not. It's so much more than that. Lunara joined them, curling into his other side. She's right. We both feel. I know, Talon whispered, his arms coming around both of them. I feel it too. They stayed like that for hours, 3 hearts beating as one. Late that night, unable to sleep, Talon found Saphira on the observation deck, staring at the stars. Couldn't sleep either, he asked, joining her. She glanced at him, vulnerable in a way he'd never seen. I keep seeing you fall. Keep imagining a universe where you didn't get back up. Saphira. He turned her to face him. I'm here. I'm alive. Are you really? She whispered. Or am I still dreaming? Her hand touched his face, as if confirming his reality. Talon covered her hand with his. I'm real. This is real. Then tell me something real, Talon. Tell me what you feel when you look at me. His breath caught. I feel like I'm falling through space with no tether. Scared and exhilarated and completely out of control. Saphira smiled through fresh tears. That's the most romantic thing anyone's ever said to me. Really? Because I can do better. She kissed him, fierce and desperate and perfect. The ship's artificial night had fallen, stars streaming past the observation windows like diamonds scattered across black velvet. Talon sat alone, or so he thought, watching the cosmos drift by, still processing what had happened with Saphira the night before. Beautiful, isn't it? Lunara's soft voice made him turn. She wore a flowing gown that seemed to capture starlight, her blonde hair loose around her shoulders. On my world, we believe stars are the souls of lovers who promise to shine for each other forever. That's incredibly romantic, Talon said, his mouth suddenly dry. She sat beside him, closer than usual. Is it true what Saphira told me? That you and she shared a kiss? Talon froze. Yes. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to complicate things. Complicate. Lunara's laugh was like music. Talon, you humans are so adorably confused. Did you think we'd be jealous of each other? I honestly don't know what to think anymore. Lunara took his hand, her touch electric. In our culture, love isn't limited or measured. It grows, like my plants, when given care and light. Saphira and I, we discussed this. We both feel drawn to you. Both. His heart hammered. Both, she confirmed, then added shyly, is that okay? By human standards. Talon thought about protocols, regulations, everything he'd been taught. Then he looked at Lunara's hopeful face and realized none of it mattered. More than okay, he whispered. Her smile could have powered the ship. Then may I tell you something? That day with the lunar blossoms? They don't just bloom for pure hearts. They bloom for souls that match. For potential mates. Lunara. I'm being too forward, aren't I? Saphira says I rush things. He silenced her with a kiss, gentler than the one he'd shared with Saphira, but no less passionate. Lunara made a small sound of surprise that turned into a contented sigh. I've wanted to do that, Talon admitted when they parted, since the first moment you smiled at me. Only wanted to kiss me, she teased, her eyes sparkling with mischief he hadn't known she possessed. Because I've wanted to do much more than that. Heat flooded through him. Lunara. Is this a private moment, or can anyone join? Saphira's voice came from the doorway, but she wasn't angry. She was grinning as she approached, already in her sleep clothes, which consisted of very little. I told her where you'd be, Lunara admitted. I hope that's all right. Saphira knelt before Talon, her golden eyes serious despite her playful smile. So, human. You've kissed us both now. Tell me, does your species have rules about this? Because ours doesn't. Talon looked between them, these two incredible women who'd somehow become his entire world. I don't want to hurt either of you. I don't want to choose. Who said anything about choosing? Saphira ran her hand up his leg, making him shiver. We're Zytharian, remember? We believe hearts expand, they don't divide. Lunara pressed against his other side, her lips at his ear. We want to share you, Talon. If you'll have us both. Both, he repeated, the word heavy with meaning and promise. Both, they confirmed together. What followed was a night of whispered confessions and tender exploration. Saphira's boldness balanced perfectly with Lunara's gentleness. They learned each other's bodies and hearts with equal reverence, discovering that love across species wasn't just possible, it was transcendent. As artificial dawn broke, Talon lay tangled with both women, their purple and lavender skin beautiful against his own. "No going back now," Saphira murmured sleepily. "Wouldn't dream of it," Talon replied, and meant it with every fiber of his being. 6 months later, the Wanderer received new orders to investigate an anomaly near the Jara Nebula. Life aboard had settled into a rhythm that felt like destiny. Talon's quarters had expanded to accommodate all three of them, though they rarely needed much space, preferring to stay close, tangled together during sleep cycles. "Coffee for my favorite pilot," Lunara announced, bringing breakfast to the bridge. She'd taken to wearing Talon's old shirts, which hung adorably oversized on her frame. "Favorite? I'm the only pilot," Talon teased, accepting the kiss she offered with his coffee. "Exactly my point," she giggled. Saphira emerged from the engine room, grease on her hands but satisfaction in her eyes. "Increased efficiency by 12%. We'll reach the nebula 3 hours early." She wiped her hands and kissed Talon thoroughly, not caring about propriety. "Morning, handsome. Morning, beautiful. Both of you." The anomaly turned out to be a derelict ship carrying a message pod. Inside was a transmission from the Zytharian Council. Admiral Vek's face appeared, looking uncomfortable. "Officer Virek, this is awkward. We've recently discovered our xenobiologists made a significant error in their human research. Humans do not, in fact, require constant companionship for mental stability. The entire mating urge protocol was based on misinterpreted data from your entertainment broadcasts, apparently something called reality dating shows." All three stared at the screen in silence. "Therefore," the Admiral continued, "the companion assignments are hereby dissolved. Saphira and Lunara may return to standard duty. We apologize for the confusion. High command out." The message ended. Nobody moved. Then Saphira started laughing. "They based it on dating shows? Those terrible human programs you showed us? The ones where everyone cries and fights constantly?" Lunara added, giggles bubbling up. Soon all three were laughing so hard they could barely breathe. "So," Talon managed between laughs, "this whole thing was a mistake." "A beautiful mistake," Lunara corrected, sobering slightly. She took his hand. "Talon, this doesn't change anything for me. I love you. Not because of protocols or duty, but because of who you are." Saphira nodded, her golden eyes bright with emotion. "You're brave and kind and terrible at engine maintenance. You make me laugh and you make me feel safe. I don't care what the council says, I'm not going anywhere." Talon's throat tightened. "You're sure? Both of you? Because you're free now. Free to choose." "We choose you," they said in unison. "I choose you both too," Talon whispered. "I love you. Both of you, with everything I am." What followed was a celebration of their love, tender and passionate, a reaffirmation that what they shared was real regardless of how it began. Later, as they lay wrapped in each other, Lunara traced patterns on Talon's chest. "Should we tell the council we're staying together?" "Absolutely," Saphira said firmly. "Let them put it in the records. Human-Zytharian bonding protocols may have been wrong, but the results were perfect." Talon pulled them both closer, breathing in their scent, Saphira's spice and Lunara's sweetness. "You know what's funny? Humans have a saying, the best things in life are unexpected." "Is that what we are?" Lunara asked. "Unexpected." "You're everything," Talon corrected. "Unexpected, impossible, and absolutely everything I never knew I needed." As the Wanderer sailed deeper into unexplored space, three hearts beat as one, proving that love didn't need protocols or assignments. It just needed trust, courage, and the willingness to reach across the stars. And somewhere in the vast cosmos, among countless species and infinite possibilities, one human and two aliens had found something rare and precious. A love that transcended worlds, defied regulations, and would shine brighter than any star. In space, they say no one can hear you scream. But they never mention that it's also where hearts can speak across galaxies, where love knows no boundaries, and where three souls can become one family among the stars.